Alicia Keys has a talent for appreciating life's little pleasures. The Grammy-winning star is obviously fighting a cold as she curls up next to a space heater on the patio of a stately home in the hills of La Jolla, California, for her People photo shoot. Rolling clouds are obscuring the vast Pacific Ocean in front of her. It is 61 degrees and cloudy when she emerges onto the patio. Nevertheless, she wears a flowing yellow LED dress and adds her own sunlight. She also packed her own munchies. We refer to them as smart sweets. She says, 3 grams of sugar, and they're good. As she bites into a gummy candy and passes the remaining portion to a crew member so she can return to the camera frame. The thing about Alicia Keys is that she values self-care, but never at the price of happiness and the small pleasures in life. It's thanks to this mindset that she has survived a very competitive music industry for almost 2 decades and prospered in her union with 45-year-old producer Swizz Beatz, with whom she has 2 kids, Genesis, age 9, and Egypt, age 13. Her Keys Soul Care beauty line, which honors the relationship between skin and spirit, is likewise inspired by this. Even after changing into 2 different outfits, she still adds, if you're not connected to your inner self, then you can't present your self most confidently outwardly, from the comforts of home. In order to avoid getting sucked into a negative thought pattern, I attempt to replace it with a good one when I hear it in my thoughts. Therefore, I surround myself with things that are good for me is one of my century-old mantras. Furthermore, getting rid of things that don't bring you happiness is acceptable. And 43-year-old Keys is using soul care to preach the gospel of that maxim. It is printed as an affirmation on the package of the brand's calming balm. When she and dermatologist Dr. Renee Snyder created Soul Care, they had the concept that customers could simply start and end their days with skincare that puts them in a happy mood. Since its introduction in 2020, the brand has expanded to include a full range of products, and in an effort to reach a wider audience, Keys recently teamed with the Amazon Premium Beauty Store. The deeply replenishing Squalane Facial Oil, their most recent release, is a game-changer for skin prone to acne because of its non-comedogenic recipe, which nourishes oily complexions without triggering breakouts. I believe that beauty is actually your spirit, but we often associate beauty with a physical presence, the woman explains. Your beauty is in what you are unable to see. It's that nourishing spirit. It's that compassionate observation and empathy. That is beauty, in my opinion. These are the kind of folks I consider to be the most lovely. That spirit essence is it. Keys struggled for a long time to accept that beauty is more than just skin deep. Taria, a single mother, was raised in Hell's Kitchen, a melting pot of a neighborhood in New York City. Her experience served as the model for her upcoming Broadway production of the same name, which will be discussed later. Keys entered the profession at the age of 4, appearing in a brief role as Rudy Huxtable's friend on a 1985 episode of The Cosby Show. She then skipped 2 grades and was accepted into the esteemed Columbia University when she was a teenager. 4 weeks later, she left school to focus on her music career, and her debut album Songs in a Minor, which peaked at #1 on the charts, gave her her big break in 2001. With #1 songs like Fallon, the album shot Keys to prominence and brought her 5 of her 16 Grammy Awards, including Best New Artist, into her collection. But there was a cost to her sudden prominence. Keys fell into a rabbit hole of self-doubt due to her constant breakouts of acne and her embracement of a tomboy style during the bubblegum pop era of Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera's dirty girl antics. She discovered that the entertainment industry was harsh and critical of her. I always felt like I was in a whole new universe. It was like an alien universe, on top of being a young girl just getting into the music business, exploring, being on television and performing under hot lights and sweating, the singer-songwriter adds. I didn't feel like who I was. I got the impression that I had to live up to everyone's expectations of who or what they believed I should be. And it really did take a long time and a lot of discipline for me to realize that I didn't have to be this person or live up to the expectations of other people for me. Actually, I could simply be myself. And for Keys, identification is everything. She declares, I'm really proud of who I am. You will always meet the same person, regardless of how you meet me, whether it's in the studio, on the couch with my husband, or at the school when I pick up my kids. But there have been some setbacks on her path to self-acceptance. The celebrity declared in 2016 that she was done with makeup, and her bare face became the face of a movement to do away with cosmetics. Her statement went global. Since then, Keys has reintroduced makeup into her life. She calls this period of time a rebellious moment, when she felt driven to defy social norms of beauty since she had grown so dependent on receiving approval from others. Being yourself is difficult. You are who you are. Generally speaking, who are you really? It's challenging, particularly in the beginning, she claims. You're attempting to blend in. You want favorable comments and want people to think well of what you're doing. Furthermore, it seems startling and uneasy when you don't understand that. Understanding herself also meant realizing the value of her relationships with other people, which meant it was time to let go of what Keys refers to as toxic energy, which she claims was bad for her. The celebrity gained a fresh perspective by letting go of that negativity, which for the first time allowed her to embrace life on her terms. In many ways, it was about my relationship with beauty, discussing beauty, and how I felt I had to kind of represent myself in a way that made other people happy, the woman explains. And I was unaware that I needed to ask myself what made me happy on a personal level. What will make you happy? How do you let go of the things that aren't beneficial to you? Keys has discovered in recent years what truly works for her: spending time with her family, reading books, being in nature, and peace and quiet. She has devoted her life to creating lovely sounds. Keys disclosed the relatively unconventional beginnings of her marriage to Beats, whom she wed in 2010, in her 2020 memoir More Myself. Even though Keys and he had originally met as youngsters in New York City in the 1990s, Keys was not impressed by his flashy automobiles and extravagant jewelry. She states in the book, "I wanted nothing to do with that scene or with Swizz." But when they got back in touch in 2008 for a music collaboration, things took off. After getting married next to the Mediterranean Sea 2 years later, they quickly grew their family. Beats's children from prior partnerships, Kassim Jr., Prince Nasir, and Nicole, are also his children. He has consistently stood behind Keys throughout the years, and on February 11 at his Super Bowl 58 halftime show, he applauded her duet with Usher. He posted on Instagram, saying, "Tonight's performance was nothing but amazing with two amazing giants. My love at Alicia Keys, and congratulations to Usher, that song is a classic. My spouse makes noise every other second. But I adore it about him, that's him," she adds. "It's a party as we stroll down the street, and he is the greatest DJ in the universe. It's incredible." The pair has made communication a priority in parenting their sons, and Keys says it's vital to her that her boys grow up to be emotionally mature young men who can make decisions based on instinct. "We're huge on conversations, so I love having them. We value communication a lot," she says. "There are undoubtedly guidelines for things, but we also need to provide children the freedom to explore and discover their interests. And in many respects, I truly follow their example. I inquire, what are your thoughts? What are your desires? What seems appropriate for you? Because I believe that a major aspect of life is being in tune with your spirit and intuition. It's going to be difficult for you if you don't know what you think or feel. Since I feel like I've wasted a lot of time misinterpreting or doubting my feelings, I want to instill in children the value of following their gut feelings." Egypt is almost the same age that his mother was when she started her career, and Keys was an adolescent when she joined the music business. He played piano with her during her performance of her song Raise a Man at the 2019 iHeartRadio Music Awards. Keys brought the moment back in a standout clip from her YouTube Originals documentary. Alicia Keys, weeping while she viewed the untold stories, was noted. Keys expresses her hope that intuition will guide Egypt and Genesis as they mature and follow their own inclinations. "They're incredibly intelligent, and we're doing great." She remarks, "They're really independent," about her sons. "I genuinely enjoy seeing them develop." Beats has been a confidant, sounding board, and collaborator for Keys, making it simpler for her to teach her boys to be transparent. She claims, "I spent a lot of relationships falling apart because I didn't really say how I felt." You cannot be who you are if you are unable to express your truth. That's essential. Even when it comes to difficult topics, I don't think twice about talking to him, and I believe he feels the same way. I'm confident that I can express my true feelings to him. Not that they only have serious conversations all the time, according to Keys, Beats, and she also laugh a lot and like one other's goofy sides. And there's alone time, of course. Despite Genesis's best attempts. She laughs and continues, even though Genesis wants the Keys' soul care, he does not want us to have it. I tell Genesis that he can't sleep in the bed every night. You are unable to. However, why? Still, he's adorable. I had to dissect it. Listen, the entire family is happy when mommy and daddy are happy, I remarked. The entire family is unhappy, even mom and daddy. Additionally, she and Beats collaborate, and their show Giants debuted at the Brooklyn Museum on February 10th and ran through July 7th. Among the many artists in their vast collection are pieces by Gordon Parks, Kehind Wiley, and Jean-Michel Basquiat. Keys' last original album, 2021's double album Keys, was published more than 2 years ago, but the celebrity claims she is still in awe of music's power to enable her to go into a new dimension and really be able to express where I'm at right now. Her attention is still on soul care for the time being, though, as well as Hell's Kitchen, the long-awaited musical that will debut on Broadway in April following a successful off-Broadway run. Inspired by Keys' biography, the jukebox musical is set to his extensive song catalog and revolves around a 17-year-old girl named Ollie who grows up in the same area of New York City as Keys. Naturally, Keys wrote the music. Michael Greif is the director, and Christopher Diaz wrote the story. This is just unbelievable. I've been working on Hell's Kitchen for the last 13 years, she states. To witness its realization and to witness its true integration. It is ultimately a tale of love between a mother and her daughter. It's amazing. My mother moved to New York City to attend NYU after leaving Toledo, Ohio. I am able to be in New York City, grow up there, and discover a dream because of her. She is the quintessential New York tale, the one who came from anywhere and chased the dream. Thus, that's essentially how Hell's Kitchen works. It's truly a dream come true to see it materialize with my mother. The Broadway musical is simply the most recent achievement that Keys has crossed off his list of goals. It won't be the last, for sure. I entered the music industry at a very young age. You must be an independent learner, she argues. It is imperative that you possess the resilience to withstand bumps, bruises, and difficult times without allowing them to derail you. I believe that all of that vitality and capacity to keep moving forward, pushing, and believing. She breaks off. Nobody is going to have faith in you. You must convince them to believe.